Folks in Jasper who use AT&T should now have an easier time getting mobile service. More on that. Plus, Huntingburg City officials are continuing to look for ways to fund stellar communities-related projects, and Janet Schnell and Ricky Patton discuss Du Bois County Substance Abuse Council grants this evening on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Well, those of you who use AT&T in Jasper and northern parts of Du Bois County should see an improvement in network speed and service going forward. The telecommunications company has announced the addition of a new mobile internet cell site that will expand 4G LTE coverage into Jasper. The cell site is located just north of the city near US 231 and West County Road 500 North. District 48 State Senator Mark Messmer says the new cell site will allow people to have easier access to the internet through their phones. He says now that the technology is in place, it will be important to keep up going forward.
Access to high-quality communication networks is critically important to economic growth of an area, economic growth of our county, of our communities. And so we need to continue to stay pushing ahead to make sure we've got good, high-quality communication systems for the long term.
Meanwhile, Du Bois Strong President Ed Cole agrees that AT&T's work will be key to economic development in the area. He says communications plays a key role in where businesses locate.
It's always a factor because of the need for information, the ability to work with markets on the other side of the world. The speed is absolutely essential.
Now, this new cell site is part of an ongoing effort by AT&T to expand its 4G LTE coverage nationwide. It's also designed to help drive investment and innovation that will ensure that customers have the best and most advanced mobile internet experience. Since 2011, AT&T has invested nearly $1.75 billion into its wired and wireless networks in Indiana. The company has implemented a wide range of upgrades that are designed to enhance speed, reliability, coverage, and performance for both businesses and residents. The company has invested more than $140 billion into its wired and wireless networks nationwide since 2008. German American has announced the promotion of 3 people to fill key roles in the company's operations and technology areas. Dale Alstad has been named Corporate Vice President of Banking Operations. Alstad lives in Huntingburg and has been with the company for the past 36 years. Meanwhile, Clay Barrett has been named as Corporate Vice President of Digital Banking, Electronic Payments, and Project Management. Barrett lives in Evansville and has been with GAB since 2012. Finally, John Merkel, who joined the company in 2008 and lives in Celestine, has been named Corporate Vice President of Technology and Information Security Officer. In a news release, GAB Chairman and CEO Mark Schrader says as the company experiences natural organizational changes driven by continued growth, they are first turning to talent within the company to fill key roles. Schrader says the process of promoting from within for these senior-level positions will, in turn, create further career enhancement opportunities for other team members at all levels within the organization as the bank positions itself for the future. The City of Huntingburg is continuing to look at ways to fund projects in connection with its Stellar Communities effort. The city is looking to refinance a water bond to allow for a pair of water department projects to get done. Those 2 projects are waterline work along 4th Street, along with repairs to the water line that feeds water to the city from Patoka Lake. Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spenner says the water bond was originally implemented back in 2000. The interest rate then was 2.9%. Spenner says the city could refinance the bond at 1.9% through Old National Bank and still pay it off in the originally allotted time frame. Spenner says the refinancing would free up $350,000 for the city's water department to complete the 2 water line projects. Spenner says he's thankful for the work of Old National Bank, the water department, and others in this effort. He says the refinancing will go a long way for the city's stellar efforts.
What this really does is puts us in a position to strengthen the financial status of the water department and not have to go out and borrow any additional funds to complete these 2 important projects.
Spenner says should the refinancing be approved, it will also boost the city's work on other projects that are being done through Stellar.
with the TIF districts that we have, utilizing those districts to their maximum, we're already planning for some bond issues against the TIF areas. The Redevelopment Commission has approved, the Council has approved, and the Planning Commission have approved plans for those projects. And that, again, gives us the most flexibility that we can do these projects, take on the expected stellar projects, and have the desired effect that we've gone at from the very beginning is it will not have an increase on the tax rate.
Spinner says the refinancing needs to be done this year so that the city's bonding limits will not be impacted. The refinancing ordinance will be taken up by the Huntingburg City Council at its next regular meeting. That meeting is just underway this evening in the council chambers at Huntingburg City Hall. A pair of area parks are among 32 across the state that will be taking part in a unique New Year's celebration this year. Coming up on January 1st, Lincoln State Park in Spencer County and Patoka Lake State Park spanning Crawford, DuBois, and Orange counties will host first day hikes to ring in 2015. The DNR says the hikes are a healthy way to start off the new year through giving people a chance to get outside, exercise, and enjoy nature while connecting with others. As mentioned, there are 32 of the hikes in all. The hike at Lincoln State Park will get underway at noon Central Time on New Year's Day at the park's Nature Center. That hike will be 1 mile long. Meanwhile, the hike at Patoka Lake State Park gets underway at 1 o'clock Eastern Time at the Nature Center. That hike will be 3/4 of a mile long and will traverse the scenic Garden Rock Loop Trail. Those who participate in this one will be served a cup of hot chocolate. Other parks among the 32 that will be hosting hikes include Brown County, Clifty Falls, Fort Harrison, McCormick's Creek, and Monroe Lake. Now, in addition to their respective hikes, Monroe Lake will host a trail run walk, while Tippecanoe River State Park will host a first day horse ride. Now for a story that you won't hear every day. A pair of Warwick County Sheriff's deputies and an Indiana State Police trooper are being lauded for their efforts to help a homeless man get back to his family in time for the holidays. At about 6:50 yesterday morning, Warwick County Sheriff's deputies Adam Silva and Jim Altmeyer, along with Trooper John Puskas of the Evansville State Police Post, were called to the Landmark subdivision along Epworth Road north of State Road 662 near Newburgh. Police say they were originally called there on a report of a suspicious person. However, the person turned out to be a 49-year-old homeless man from Richmond, Virginia. The man told police he wanted to go back home to Virginia and see his father. The man further told police he had been living in the Evansville area for about a year, but he had no money. The officers then called his father, who was not able to send money for his son. The three officers then pooled some money of their own together and bought the man a bus ticket to Richmond. They then took the man to the bus station in Dale, where he boarded a Greyhound bus to go back home. The Indiana Department of Education's request for more money to assess student performance is now drawing scrutiny from the State Budget Committee. Committee members raised questions today about whether Indiana needs to administer the number of tests that it does, and whether or not national tests would be cheaper than the state's own I-STEP Plus exam. The I-STEP exam is being overhauled for the spring to have more rigorous standards as part of the state's move away from Common Core. Schools Superintendent Glenda Ritz says the retooled test will be aligned to Indiana's new education standards. Meanwhile, Committee Chairman Senator Luke Kinley says he needs a better understanding of the decision process in order to sell Ritz's budget request to lawmakers who will be asked to pay for it. We conclude this evening from the national level. The U.S. Senate unanimously passed a resolution paying tribute to an Indiana aid worker beheaded by Islamic State militants in Syria last month. The resolution was passed last night and also expresses condolences to the family of Abdul Rahman Kasig. The resolution additionally condemns the actions of the Islamic State militants and urges the U.S. and international community to work together to address the threat that is posed by them. The resolution was introduced by Indiana Senators Joe Donnelly and Dan Coates and cites Kasig's humanitarian work. The 26-year-old former Army Ranger from Indianapolis founded a relief organization to help war victims in Syria. He was originally captured on October 1st of last year. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Janet Schnell and Ricky Patton. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.